Apex has been out for 5 years now, which means they've scrapped a lot of stuff they were planning to release, including a lot of skins, and a whole collection event. So let's take a look at the skins and cosmetics they scrapped, because trust me, they scrapped a lot of bangers like this skin from 2020, which was nicknamed the pandemic skin because it was added into the files back when COVID was at its peak. And at the time when this was data mined, it was suspected to be some sort of COVID-19 relief / charity skin, because it had a Watson with a mask on it, which was pretty cool honestly, and also 2 gloved hands fist bumping each other, and it also had an animated element. Unfortunately, after a lot of waiting, Respawn never released the skin, and then eventually removed it from the files, deeming it as scrapped, killing one of the most beloved unreleased skins in Apex. In Apex though, it's not just weapon skins that get scrapped. Respawn have unfortunately scrapped many cool legendary legend skins. For example, this is one of the more famous legendary skins Respawn scrapped. This was added to the files back in season 16, and Respawn intended to release it during the Golden Week store event, as the skin quite obviously followed a Japanese theme. But as we approached the event, we realized Respawn didn't have the appropriate code to sell this skin in the event, and when the event came around, this skin was nowhere to be seen. So a lot of us just said, oh, we'll wait till season 17, it will surely come out in season 17. But this skin simply never came to the game, and to this day, we still see no sign of it being released, so currently this skin is as good as scrapped. Also, there's a very cool Lifeline legendary that we've been seeing floating around the files and leaks for years, and it seems like Respawn scrapped this one as well. This skin is the Lifeline firefighter skin, and we first saw this skin in the big leaks back in 2022, where loads of future legends got leaked. At the time of the leak, the skin was very basic and still in development, and we didn't see any more news of it until over a year later during season 17, where it was added to the files with a full model. So obviously, upon seeing this, a lot of people expected this Lifeline skin to be released very soon, but the story's the same as the other story. It just never came. And here we are 4 seasons later, and considering that this skin has been floating around for 2 years, surely by now Respawn would have found a moment to sell it. So I'm classing this one as scrapped until we have further confirmation of anything else. There are also a ton of legend recolors that Respawn have created, but take ages to release, and you know, some of these may well be scrapped, because whenever a legend comes out, they have 2 legendary skin models, and Respawn creates loads of legendary skin recolors of those models to eventually sell in the store for legend tokens, but a lot of the time, Respawn just don't get around to releasing these. Seriously, we've been waiting for this one for a long time, we've been waiting for this one for a long time, and only a month ago a Catalyst recolor came out that we've been waiting for 6 whole seasons, which is just insane. There's one really famous recolor that we think Respawn scrapped though, even though they added it to the files ready to sell, and it was a recolor of the Phasewalker skin. This recolor was added into the game back in season 16 with the name Warpatch and was ready to be released, but a lot of people don't know it was in the files way before that, as early as season 9. Yet for some reason Respawn still haven't released it, despite its likeliness to sell really well being really high, considering it will come with a special select animation. Likely the reason they haven't sold this skin yet, and it's most likely scrapped, is because this recolor right here looks really similar to an existing Phasewalker recolor. I mean, if you look at them side by side, you probably can't tell the difference. So a lot of people do think because of this, the Warpatch recolor skin is scrapped. Weirdly enough, at the same time the Warpatch skin was added to the files, Respawn also added a recolor of the season 1 reactive battle pass Havoc. The recolor was extremely simple, and it basically just turned the Havoc blue. But I think this skin is definitely scrapped because, if you're not aware, during the Void Reckoning event, Respawn released a very similar Havoc reactive recolor, but it looked 10 times cooler with better effects. So it's likely that this skin was scrapped and eventually upgraded to this version of the skin. And it goes even deeper, because that's not the only reactive Havoc recolor Respawn have had in the files. They also had this reactive recolor where it's just a wood grain skin on the reactive gun, and this one is definitely scrapped because it's terrible, and if they release this, nobody would be buying it, especially with these recolor shards. By the way, skins aren't the only thing Respawn have scrapped or not released, because there are actually 2 poses in the game right now that Respawn won't release for some reason, and one of them is actually viewable in game, but not equipable by anybody. First, there's a chance that if you kill a flyer and it drops a death box, one of the death boxes will be displaying a pose that is not in the game, and that is this Bangalore pose. This pose has been in the files since at least season 2, and if you have have a hacked version of Apex, you can equip this pose yourself, but Respawn won't release it. The same situation goes with this Wraith pose that was meant to release in the Voidwalker collection event all those years ago, but they didn't release it for some reason. The unreleased items don't have to be from early seasons though, because back in the Unshackled event, Respawn made more skins than they should have, and they now have leftover skins that they can't really release into any other event because they don't match the theme. In the Unshackled event, Respawn made this Ash skin, but it never came into the event, and simply Respawn never released it, so this one is as good as scrapped. And there are many examples from recent and older events of Respawn making mostly epic skins or banner frames for these events, and them never releasing. There is a page on the Apex wiki called Unreleased Content, and you can see all of the banner frames that Respawn just haven't released for some reason. That's a lot of art unfortunately gone to waste. What about that whole collection event that got scrapped though? Because it's true, Respawn did scrap a whole collection event nearly 2 years ago now. And trust me, despite this being a collection event full of skins, none of these will ever make it back to the game. This collection event was intended to be a collaboration between Apex esports teams and Apex, where Apex would make skins for the esports teams, which would allow the esports teams to earn a tiny bit of money through these skins. But unfortunately, there were issues. After the skins were made and added to the files ready to be released into the game, lots of news started popping up that disagreements between Respawn and the esports teams were occurring, because Respawn was being really dodgy with the ways they were going to dish out the money earned from these skins to the esports teams, and also they were being extremely unfair, not letting the esports teams have a lot of the income from the sold skins. So eventually a lot of esports teams just pulled out of Apex on a whole, and Respawn had to cancel this collection event. And all of these skins from the collection event are very unlikely to ever come back to Apex, because a lot of the teams who had skins have now left Apex completely, or even changed their logos. And this is one of Apex's biggest fumbles, and the thing that amazes me is that Respawn had these skins finished and still took the approach to scrap the skins instead of giving the esports teams a fair deal to get the money from the sold skins. Just a whole mess. One skin that wasn't scrapped through drama though was this R301 with an Oni mask on it, which was meant to come out in season 19 in a collection event, but it suffered the same fate as many of the skins on this list. Respawn made too many skins for a collection event and were not able to release it when the collection event first came out, so it was just eventually scrapped. Another skin I should also mention is this Maggie skin. This Maggie skin has been floated around in leaks for over a year now, yet we have not seen it yet. It feels like Respawn make a lot of skins with a cool concept, but then are unable to make other skins that follow the same theme that they can sell with the skin, which is massively unfortunate. And I can't go this whole video without mentioning the entirety of Apex Mobile before it was discontinued, because you may not be aware, but Apex Mobile had its own set of unique skins, which were concepted and drawn up by the same people who were concepting and drawing up skins for main Apex. And it is a massive shame that now Apex Mobile is discontinued, these models are just going to sit and gather dust for the rest of eternity. And the crazy thing is, there's probably 10 times more skins that Respawn have scrapped for one reason or another. We have only seen these scrapped skins because Respawn added them to the game's files at one point or another. So I'd love to see all the skins that have been scrapped throughout Apex's whole life, because I'm sure there's some crazy ones. And if we ever see them, subscribe and I'll make a video.